Hey, what's up guys? It's Gracie and I hit 200 subscribers. What? I think that was like one of my New Year's goals was to get to 200 subscribers this year, and I didn't think it would happen this quickly. I'm so grateful to you guys. It's honestly crazy. But to celebrate, I am doing a Q&A. So I wrote in the comments section of a few videos that I was going to do a Q&A and to leave me questions. And on Books Amino, I made a post and I have some questions to answer today. So, my first question is from Bat Spider-Man, and they asked, what's your favorite MCU movie? I have two that I absolutely love, and one of them is one that most people don't really like that much, which I find kind of weird. So, the one that I like that a lot of people don't like is Avengers Age of Ultron. I don't understand why very many people don't like this movie. It's one of my favorites, and I honestly couldn't really explain why. Maybe it's because of like Wanda Pietro. I love Pietro, and I love Wanda, so I guess that may be why. So that's that one. And then also Spider-Man Homecoming is kind of obvious if you know me well enough. It's like, I really like these two for different reasons. I don't know how to explain it. I just really love both of these, and I couldn't really pick one over the other. Even though when people ask me, I usually go with this one since everyone hates this one. Honeybee Reads has asked me two questions. The first question being, what is your favorite genre and why do you like it so much? Whenever anyone asks me what my favorite genre is, I have to really think about it because I love fantasy, I love historical fiction. Those are my main two that I love, but I also can really get into realistic fiction, dystopian, sometimes. Sci-fi is definitely not on my top, but it's honestly almost always like a struggle between, do I like historical fiction more or do I like fantasy more? And when I say fantasy, I mean like high fantasy and not really urban fantasy, because that feels like a whole different genre to me, and that's not one of my favorites either. I would say at the moment probably historical fiction. I love it so much because I like, you know, when people ask you questions like, would you rather be able to go into the past or into the future? I would like to go into the past. I really love learning about the past, and for historical fiction that's written very well, I highly enjoy seeing the perspective of the characters of what happened at that time, and I think it's just really fun. One of my favorite historical fictions is Between Shades of Grey by Rudis Pettis, but at the moment I'm also reading The Diviners by Libba Bray, which isn't really historical fiction, it's like a paranormal historical fiction, and I also really love like some paranormal elements in my books. I usually don't like completely paranormal based books, but I like those elements, so that's a really good book that I'm reading right now. Highly recommend if you haven't read it, but I feel like a lot of people have. And Between Shades of Grey is amazing. Check it out. So good. The second question Melissa asked me was, who are your authors? I have two, and first one is Tahira Mafi. 10 out of 10, Tahira Mafi. I love her books. I adore the Shatter Me series. I love Furthermore in Witchwood. And I'm so excited. She has another book coming out in October called A Very Large Expanse of Sea, I believe. Tahira Mafi for sure, and Samantha Shannon. Samantha Shannon wrote the Bone Season still writing the Bone Season Septology. There are 3 books out right now. I really love it. It's not for everybody because there's a lot of like random info dumping and like a lot of unique information that a lot of people be like, what's the point in this? I don't really care. But for me, I love random stuff like that, and I love the characters. The world is super interesting to me, so definitely her, and I know she's coming out with a new book. I don't remember when, maybe this year, maybe next year. And the next question comes from Navy L Sunset, and that is, what was your favorite coming of age novel? So I don't read a lot of like coming of age novels, but when I was in like 5th grade, 5th, maybe 6th, I read the Sisterhood of Traveling Pants series and absolutely loved them. I was obsessed with them. I loved the movie. Blake Lively is in it, like Shook. But I don't really have anything else to say. It's basically about these girls that find a pair of pants that magically fits all of them, even though they have like really different body types, and they are not going to be together for the first summer in their entire life. They're going on vacations or like visiting other family, and so they send the pants back and forth, basically. Next question comes from Books Are Good on Books Amino. Thanks, Sabrina, for the questions. Out of all the books you own, which one has the prettiest cover? This was really hard for me. I had to sit there for a few minutes and be like, wait, I don't know. So I really love the Shatter Me covers right here. But at the same time, I wouldn't say they're my favorite, but I couldn't think of something I liked more, except for maybe Between Shades of Grey by Ruta Spades. What are 2 characters you ship from different books? Ooh, okay. I spent like 10 minutes thinking about this, and I couldn't like decide. So I really was really wanting to ship Asriel with somebody. Asriel from the A Court of Thorns and Roses series with somebody. So I was trying to find someone that like he would like, but I couldn't think of anything. It was actually killing me, and the only thing I could think of was Paige from the Bone Season and Asriel. But I don't know, because I feel like that Paige is not Asriel's type, but Asriel's Paige's type, so it wouldn't be like a good ship. And then I was thinking, okay, I have one, but it's a little weird. I was thinking like Kenji from the Shatter Me series with an older Alice from Furthermore and Witchwood. If they were the same age, I feel like they could be really cute. I don't know if that makes sense or if that's weird because they're not the same age, but I mean, that's all I can think of. And Stargirl.01 also asked me what my favorite genre is, and it's historical fiction. She also asked me, do I ever reread books? I do, just it's not something I do super often, if that makes sense. And then the next question she had was, why did you become a reader? I was one of the last kids to learn how to read in kindergarten, 1st grade. I was not a very good reader. And then I really like pushed myself into it and ended up being an advanced reading in elementary school. But I still didn't really like reading for fun until like 4th grade. I had a really hard time making friends in elementary school. Sometimes that's still an issue for me, but it's gotten a lot better. And a way that I coped with it was like reading and just finding other things to do and kind of making those fictional friends. And the books that I did read and that I loved were so important to me because they were the books, and the characters felt like my actual friends, which sounds really depressing. But that's just kind of how it worked, I guess. I don't know how to explain it, but that's like why I started to be a big reader. I read a lot in 4th grade, I read a lot in 5th grade, and then I've continued reading until now. Paperback or hardcover? 10 out of 10 paperback. This is also an unpopular opinion, but like, number one, they're cheaper, and that's not even like my main reason why I like them. I couldn't really explain all the reasons I like paperbacks. I just really like the feel of them. They're a lot more practical, like when bringing them places, and yeah. Storybook asked me 3 questions. She also has a YouTube channel. What's your favorite trope? My favorite trope is the hate to love trope. I would list some books, but that would be kind of a little bit on the spoilery side. It's not even just like, I don't like you. No, it's like a complete hate, and then you realize they're not like who you thought they were. That's my favorite trope. I 100% stand that trope. I love that trope. The trope that I hate, though, that's another question, is where they're like in love, but then they break up because one person will hurt the other, which is weird because in some of those books, like, some of the books I really like have that trope, but that's like my least favorite thing about those books. And then storybook's last question for me was, how do you find time to read? I don't do much besides read. I play Sims. Death. Okay. I play Sims. I play other video games sometimes. I organize, but while I'm organizing, I listen to audiobooks. Like, when I say I organize, it's not like I randomly sometimes organize. I organize a lot. Like, I'll just pick a random thing and be like, what do I want to organize today? Pick something to organize. We'll organize that for like 2 hours and listen to my audiobook. I'm not in any school activities because the school I'm at the moment does not really have anything that interests me, but next year for sure I'm going to be in some school activities, so I might not be reading as much, but I don't know. Honestly, audiobooks are one of the ways I get a lot of reading done because kind of no matter what I'm doing, except if I'm like watching a show, I can listen to an audiobook. That's basically like how I find time to read, because that's all I really have time for, is either to do nothing or to read. So I read. Kelsey Reads on Booksamino asked me, what book series is your all-time favorite? I love the Shatter Me series by Taha Damafi. 10 out of 10, love that. Love the A Court of Thorns and Roses series. The Diviners series so far is really good. And I would say those are probably my favorites. Next question came from Bobby, I think is how you say it, on Booksamino, and she said she asked your first book, which she clarified meaning like what's the first book you read or that you remember reading. And I remember reading I Want One Too, a children's book about an older brother and a little sister, and the little sister is like copying the older brother. And the next question she asked was the worst book you've ever read. The worst book I've ever read was A Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. I hate that book. I detest that book. I loathe that book. A lot of people will either rate it like 5 stars or like 1 star. So, like, don't let my opinion like sway you from reading it, but at the same time, I hated it, so. But I do have a review for it. It was like my first review I ever did because I was just so annoyed. I was like, no. That is my 200 subscriber Q&A. Thank you guys so much for asking questions. Thank you guys so much for subscribing and making this video possible. I upload every Friday and sometimes Tuesdays. Make sure to subscribe if you like bookish and Marvel videos. Thank you. Bye.